Everyone talks about Christmas. No one talks about the day after. Because Christmas is about what you're given. Boxing Day is about what's taken back. And this year, we found something we were never meant to see. In my town, Christmas ends early. Lights are switched off before sunrise. Music stops overnight. Decorations disappear quietly, as if people are embarrassed they ever celebrated. By December 26th, the streets are silent. No children outside. No shops opening. No greetings exchanged. People don't even say Merry Christmas anymore. They host, nod, and close their doors. They call it tradition. But tradition is just fear that survived long enough to become normal. It's always been this way, for as long as anyone can remember. My grandfather used to say, "The silence is a sign of respect." But respect for what? He'd never say. He'd just stare out the window, his jaw tight, his eyes fixed on something only he could see down the empty street. It's a heavy quiet. You know, it's not peaceful. It's the kind of quiet that holds its breath, waiting for a sound it knows is coming but desperately hopes won't. The air gets thin and cold, even indoors. You find yourself walking on tiptoes in your own house, hushing your own thoughts. My mom spends the morning cleaning, scrubbing things that are already spotless, her movements sharp and jerky. She's trying to fill the silence with the sound of work, but all it does is make the quiet louder. The entire town is a stage, perfectly set, waiting for the main act to begin. And it always does. The boxes arrive after dawn. No trucks, no footsteps, no sound. Plain wooden boxers, chest high, nailed shut, always placed perfectly in front of certain houses. Never touching the door, never blocking it. Centered, like they're waiting to be acknowledged. By noon, everyone knows where they are. Not because we talk, because we count. Everyone is at their window, curtains pulled back just a sliver. We all look. We see the houses that have been chosen. This year, it's the Millers at number 12. The quiet family with the rose bushes. The old man, Mr. Henderson, at the end of the lane, and 3 others. We count them, we memorize them, and then we pull the curtains shut and pretend we saw nothing at all. The boxes are made of a dark, splintery wood, almost black. They look ancient, like they were dug up from somewhere deep and forgotten. There are no hinges, no locks, just thick, rusted nails hammered all the way in. There are objects that are meant to stay closed. They are a statement of finality, a full stop at the end of a sentence you never wanted to read. They're not coffins. They're too small for an adult, maybe even for a child. They're not deliveries, no markings, no addresses, no return labels. They don't belong to anyone. That's the worst part. They look finished, like they've already served their purpose. It's a disturbing thought, that something can arrive already having completed its task. What was the task? What's inside? These questions hang in the air, unasked and unanswered. They're not gifts. Gifts have ribbons. They're not warnings. A warning implies you have a chance to change course. These boxers feel like the consequence itself, delivered with a cold, impersonal precision. They just are an undeniable, immovable fact on someone's front lawn. There are rules on Boxing Day. No one teaches them. You learn by watching. Rule 1, don't open the box. Rule 2, don't move the box. Rule 3, don't speak about the box. If you break a rule, nobody stops you. They just stop acknowledging you, like you're already gone. Because next year, they'll be watching your door instead. I saw it happen once when I was a kid. A teenager, new to town, tried to shove one of the boxers over. He kicked it. He shouted at it. No one came out of their house. No one called the police. His own parents just closed their front door. The next day, he was gone. His family moved away a week later, in the middle of the night. No goodbyes. The year after that, a box appeared on their empty lawn. That's how you learn. You learn that the rules aren't there to protect you from the box. They are there to protect everyone else from you. This year, one box was different. It was the one in front of the Miller house. From my bedroom window, I could see it clearly, and it smelled wrong. Not rot, not blood. Something colder, like metal left out too long, like winter trapped inside wood. It was a sterile, chemical smell that cut through the crisp morning air. A smell that didn't belong to anything natural. I stood across the street, staring at it longer than I should have. Long enough for Mrs. Miller to peek through her curtains and see me looking. Her eyes were wide with a terror I recognized. It was the terror of being seen, of being part of the spectacle. I should have looked away. I should have closed my own curtains and pretended. But the smell, and something else, it held me there. That's when I noticed something that made my stomach drop. Every other box I had ever seen was placed parallel to the house, facing the street. This one, the one at the Miller's house, was turned 90 degrees. It wasn't placed outside the house. It was placed facing the door, as if it expected to go back inside. Everyone knows the day after Christmas is for leftovers and sales. But in my town, Boxing Day means something else entirely. It's the day we wait to see who gets a delivery. This year, it was Oliver. Oliver was new. He'd moved in about 3 months ago, full of noise and questions. He thought our town's quiet was strange, calling it a creepy charm. He didn't understand that our silence wasn't empty, it was full of things we didn't dare speak about. He was friendly, curious, and way too loud. He laughed at the stillness, which was his first mistake. His second was asking questions about the box. It appeared on his doorstep just after 9 in the morning on December 26th. A plain, wooden crate, about the size of a coffin. No markings, no address label. Just there. Oliver, being Oliver, didn't leave it alone. He started knocking on doors, a big, confused grin on his face. "Hey, did you guys see who dropped this off? Is this some kind of town prank?" Of course, no one answered. We were all inside, curtains drawn, holding our breath. We'd seen the boxes before. We knew what they meant. Ignoring them is the only rule. Don't touch it. Don't acknowledge it. And pray it's not for you. Oliver didn't get the memo. We watched from our windows as his confusion turned to frustration. He circled the box, poked it, even tried to peer through the cracks. His laughter had died down, replaced by an annoyed muttering. He just couldn't let it go. Finally, at exactly 2:14 in the afternoon, he gave up trying to solve the mystery from the outside. We heard the telltale sound, a sound that makes the whole town flinch. The scrape of wood against stone. He was dragging it inside. The front door slammed shut, and for 2 minutes, there was absolute silence. Even for our town, it was a heavy, suffocating quiet. Then, at 2:16, the screaming started. But it wasn't the kind of scream you hear in movies. It wasn't a shriek of panic or a cry of pain. It was a scream of recognition, the sound someone makes when they've been searching for something their whole life, only to find it waiting for them in the dark. It was the sound of a question finally being answered. It was the sound of someone seeing their own reflection where they least expected it. The scream lasted for less than a minute, and then silence. Again, a permanent kind of silence. By nightfall, the box was gone, so was Oliver. His car was still in the driveway. His Christmas lights were still blinking cheerfully, but the man himself had vanished. His front door, however, was wide open, swinging gently in the cold evening breeze. An invitation, or maybe a warning. A few of the town elders eventually went over. They didn't call the police. The police don't come here on Boxing Day. They know better. Inside, the house was untouched, except for the hallway. The wooden floor leading from the front door was deeply scratched, gouged as if something impossibly heavy had been dragged out. And within the scratches, they found a word, carved over and over again, clawed into the floorboards. Returned. There was no blood. No signs of a struggle, just that single, repeated word and a smell. It's a smell you never forget. Cold, like old iron left out in the winter rain. The scent of a lock clicking shut for the last time. It's the smell of finality. Every year, at dusk on Boxing Day, the whole town gathers in the square. It's not a vigil. We don't mourn. We count. It's a silent, grim tradition. We don't say the names of the missing. That would make it too real. We just count the boxers. We count who was taken, or, as we call it, who was returned. We stand in the cold, our breath turning to fog, and the elder reads the number. 3, 5, 1. It's our way of balancing the books, of acknowledging the debt that was paid. It's how we know we're safe for another year. But this year, something was wrong. After Oliver was taken, the elder did the count. The number was off. There was one box too many. Panic, cold and sharp, cut through the usual solemn atmosphere. An extra box meant the rules had changed. It meant one of us had been chosen, but hadn't been collected. It meant someone who thought they were safe was, in fact, already packed and ready to go. We all looked at each other, suspicion creeping into our eyes. Who was the extra one? I went home with my heart pounding in my chest. I've lived here my whole life. I've seen dozens of boxers, dozens of neighbors vanish. You get used to it, in a strange way. You accept it as a fact of life, like winter or taxes. But the idea of an extra one, an unaccounted for return, was terrifying. I reached my front porch, and for a moment, a wave of relief washed over me. My doorstep was empty. No box. I was safe. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding and fumbled for my keys. But then I saw it. Something in the freshly fallen snow. Footprints, but they weren't leading to my door. They were leading away from it. Small, scuffed tracks, heading down my walkway, toward the street. My blood ran cold. I followed them with my eyes, my gaze tracing their path to the curb, and there it was. A wooden box, identical to Oliver's. It was already on the street, waiting. It was facing my house. It wasn't delivered. It was waiting to be picked up. It looked like it had been there all along, like it had always been mine. In Teaspoon Christmas decides who survives another year. But Boxing Day decides who belongs. And once you're returned, you don't get opened again. Thanks for watching.